Good mic. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fearless Floyd Show. As always, I am your host, Fearless Floyd, and tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Venezuela. If you've been following me, then you're probably all caught up, right? Most people don't realize the strategic takeover of Venezuela, why it was chosen. You can bet, okay, a lot of it is the natural resources, the oil, the iron ore, bauxite, gold, silver. We'll get into all the commodities that they do have, how much they have, the value, et cetera, et cetera. But Venezuela was trying to join BRICS. Well, what's just south of Venezuela? Brazil. That's the B in BRICS. Who also is in BRICS? Oh, Russia and China. Oh. So it is a national security issue that we take control of that country before one of these other countries in the BRICS consortium now has possession control of the world's largest oil reserves, about 300 billion barrels and counting. So, yeah, that's not the sole reason, but that's a major player in the game. There's tons of conspiracies, you know, in the background that U.S. governmental officials have been paid off behind the scenes to kind of look the other way. I don't know if that's true or not. This is what matters, okay? What matters is the United States government went into a sovereign country. And if you believe that some Delta team extracted the president of a country who has a $50 million bounty on his head, okay? Because I know if I was pulling in millions, multi-millions a day in revenue and had access to an army, a police force, and all these other people that can protect me, I think I can afford to live where I want, move around every damn day, and have an army follow me. So why was it so easy to extract Maduro and his wife? And why did we send Delta Team and not SEAL Team 6? Because I told you a long time ago, if you've watched my show, you've listened to these updates, I told you that intelligence was already well embedded in Venezuela. Absolutely. We were already there setting that all up. It wouldn't surprise me if this is all a big freaking show and, you know, they're going to bring him in and he's going to get his little low sentence and allegedly spend the rest of his life in prison. I haven't read his indictment yet. I'll go read Maduro's indictment and break it down and see who has a leg to stand on. From what I've heard, some of these charges are just ridiculous, but you know, I've seen him indict somebody who was actually in the same cell block with me for robbing the store. I'm like, you were in here. No shit, Floyd. So yeah, I've seen it all. So no telling what's up with that. So not only is Venezuela a strategic national security issue, just as far as its geographical location, its affiliation with other entities, let's leave it like that. It was at the behest of the United States to go in and take over Venezuela, and that's what we did. Now, as I said in one of my previous videos, fully expect the United States to establish some type of military base there, whether it's a naval base or a physical, geographical on land base, whether that's, you know, the Marines, Army, Air Force, a combination, I don't know. All I know is we pulled the president and his wife out and left everybody else there. Y'all been doing such a stellar job And you got Trump saying, oh, yeah, we're going to run it. And then you got Rubio saying, no, we're not going to run it. And then you got these other people, what the hell do you believe? Obviously, they're not on the same playbook. Somebody's got a different agenda. And we don't know who. And we don't know why. But I guarantee you, at the end of that line, there's somebody there with a stack of money, a pot of gold, barrel of oil, whatever that looks like. Now, remember, does Congress, do they do kind of any illegal acts like insider trading? So do you think that possibly because the Trump family and everybody in the Trump administration knew that this was coming, they knew when it was coming, and they already had all the agreements already worked out before it even happened. And then it happened. I mean, you don't see some big transition. This isn't, we're not doing Iraqi freedom or whatever it was, Operation Freedom Part 2. This is a whole different ball game. If anyone believes the narrative, the political retort come from the Trump administration that this is a narco-terrorism organization that needs to be taken down, well, you can go down to South America, Central America, well, not everywhere in Central America, but definitely Mexico, and hey, those are all narco states. Who's the largest private landowner in Paraguay? A former U.S. president. What's the number one drug hub to Europe and South America? Oh, that place again. It's a coincidence. That's all. Just a coincidence that his father, George H.W. Bush, used to run the CIA. They're the biggest narco traffickers internationally. They let the cartels run because, they need supply for their demand so they can get that black money, right? And then they go subvert other countries and take it over. If you've never read a book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, you should read it. If you've never read Disaster Capitalism, you should read it. Because just those two books right there are going to go, oh, okay, I see what they're doing. All makes sense now. And this is what you're seeing. And you're going to see it real quick. They're going to go in there and they're going to take over Venezuela and they're going to flip it around. And everything's going to be divvied up to all their cronies, and all the wealthy elites are going to make a shit ton of money off of Venezuela. The Venezuelan economy will improve. It's not going to be this overnight thing where they're going to be able to just go in, turn in their currency, and be gazillionaires. But no, that's not going to happen. It'll slowly rise. They can't turn on the fire hydrant. They just have to let the faucet drip, 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 drip. And they'll turn on a little more, drip, 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 drip. And just tell it to get a nice steady stream. And the economy picks up, starts flowing. Because they're going to need people to work for them, right? To get that gold, that silver, that iron, that bauxite, the gas, the oil. And most of the people that are working age, they bailed. They got caught up in the gang system in Venezuela. So it's a different picture. And you see Trump talking about Greenland, which I've covered at length, told you why he wants Greenland, explained that fully to you, showed you the video that we clearly established a deep underground military base in Greenland back in the 50s, 40s, 50s. And then it had a mini nuclear reactor in it. Did you know that? Did you know we put a mini nuclear reactor in Greenland underground to run the whole thing? And yeah, they abandoned that. And then we didn't even, everybody forgot about it, like everybody, until NASA had a something fly over and go, hey, what's that down there? Oh, shit, we forgot about that. So Greenland, again, another national security strategic geographical location. If you're not seeing the big picture, warfare has changed. Traditional warfare, where, okay, we're going to send a bunch of soldiers and they're going to go get on the front, and no, that's not how things get fought anymore. It's really high stakes guerrilla warfare with drones. You're going to start seeing droids. I'm just going to call them droids. I'm going to call them androids or robots or whatever. You're going to see those eventually come out on the battlefield, and this is a money thing. The cheaper the technology gets, the more they're able to mass produce it, the more affordable it will be, and the more that these countries will use them in times of war or civil unrest. Absolutely. I just read where Mexico, real ID, folks. I mean, that shit's coming. And people are going to surrender all this for their humanity, for convenience, national security, disasters. Those three things. You surrender. How many freedoms did people surrender during the whole COVID pandemic thing, right? Disaster. And then they take them during national security. They just, yeah. It's a national security issue. And you can't say anything about it. So let me get over here. I just ran this through Chat GPT. Most of it I already know. I just want to give you something a little bit tangible to look at. Those are guests in a thread for upcoming panel show. Some of the names that were thrown at me, well, they weren't thrown at me, presented. Let me rephrase that. I was like, what? And I'll get to them. They were, opened my eyes. I'm like, oh, okay. They want to come on my show? All right, I'm in. So that's what we're working on now. We're getting the time and date scheduled. That will be a fascinating show. I know one of them. I'm sure you heard her father a gazillion times. Casey Kasem. Yeah. His daughter's going to come on my show with at least two other ladies. And he told me about one, but I can't confirm that one. So, I'll hold on that one. And remember, I'm just a nobody, man. I'm just like you. Somebody called me last night about a book, and I talked to them, and they were like, is this Floyd? I'm like, yeah. I keep telling y'all, who do y'all expect to answer my phone? I'm serious about that. There's not too many people on YouTube that'll do that, plaster their cell phone, everything about them all over social media. But yeah, that's who I am. So, all the books that I showed you here earlier, let me pause for a minute. Those are now available in soft cover. So if there's any ebook that you see over in the fearlessfloydshow.com store, it's available. You're just going to see an ebook for $49, but if you want one for $99, I just haven't uploaded them yet and haven't fixed that. I just now got them off except one book. I've got one more book to do because I don't have the Word file to reformat it. So that's what I've been doing. So anyway, let me get back over here to Venezuela. I know you don't want to see my happy ass. Get out of the way. All right. So the top commodities of Venezuela by export value. All right. Now, this is what is known, okay, because this is what is known to go through their borders into other countries, export value. So there's a lot of exporting going on that is off the books, unregulated, unknown. So it will eventually start adding into that as well with these figures. So obviously mineral fuels, including crude oil and petroleum products, are their number one. I believe that is in, I don't know what these are included above. Doesn't tell me in the legend. I'm going to assume 10 billion, 800 million export value, iron and steel products, organic chemicals, fish and seafood, aluminum and related products. That would also be bauxite, ores, slag, ash, mainly iron ore, fertilizers, and we know how important fertilizers are, and these are nitrogen-based fertilizers, copper and articles thereof, and we know how important copper is because that's how we get all our electricity. Cocoa and cocoa products, beverages, spirits, vinegar, etc. 11, petroleum residues. 12, acrylic alcohols, chemical feedstocks. 13, iron or steel scrap. 14, asphalt and bitumen mixes. 15, lobsters and crustaceans. I had no idea they were exporting lobsters. I've never seen that on the menu. Venezuelan lobsters or shrimp or whatever, right? 16 to 25 smaller categories, e.g. specialized chemicals, minor agriculture exports, byproducts, etc., etc. So comparing their commodity exports to global exports, and this gave me a pie chart, but it gave it to me in HTML. Okay, thanks. But takeaways from the chart, which you couldn't see, which I can't see either. Oil and fuel products dominate Venezuela's exports in global commodity trade, but Venezuela's share is much more concentrated. Globally, crude oil and oil products are the largest single commodity exported worldwide, over 1.4 trillion total trade value. So just in crude oil and oil products, Venezuela has 1.4 trillion in trade value. But Venezuela contributes a small fraction of that, even though its oil is its main export. Metals and minerals, iron, aluminum, copper are large parts of global trade, hundreds of billions, but represent a small part of Venezuela's export mix. Chemicals and specialized products are major globally, but relatively modest in Venezuela's export profile. So we already know what the summary is going to be. Now, I asked, what about gold and silver? Because I didn't watch the video. It just popped up, and I don't know if I caught a part of it or whatever, but they were talking about that there's just this ungodly amount of silver in Venezuela, like more than every other country in the world combined. I'm like, what? I go, that doesn't even make sense. They would be known for silver. If anything south of the United States is known for silver, that would be Mexico. Yes, gold and silver are indeed among Venezuela's natural resource commodities, though they don't appear in some basic export lists dominated by oil and industrial metals because a large portion of gold mining and trading in Venezuela operates outside formal statistics, much of it illicit or informal, so official export numbers are hard to pin down. Silver production and exports exist, but at a much smaller scale compared with oil and iron steel products. So here's their what they know. These are the known knowns. Venezuela holds official gold reserves reported at 161.22 metric tons as of 2024. One of the largest reserves in Latin America. Well, there's a feather in your cap. You capture that, right? Independent studies estimate annual gold extraction between 45 to 54 tons, roughly 2.75 to 3.3 billion worth at current prices. Well, that's not a bad payday per year, right? Every year. Though irregular control and reporting make exact figures uncertain. A significant amount of gold mining in the Arco Minero del Rincon region is controlled by a mix of state entities, strategic partnerships, and irregular groups rather than fully formal corporate reporting. Oh, well, that's fixing to change. And if you don't think that deal wasn't worked out beforehand, oh boy. Remember, Trump's not a politician. He's a what? Oh, a businessman. What do businessmen do? Oh, the art of the deal. Okay, I see now. Thank you. Export trade value. Some economic analysis lists gold contributing about 1.5% of Venezuela's exports, far below oil, but still a notable part of the non-oil export base. Official export statistics often underreport gold because much is smuggled or traded informally before it ever appears in customs data. Okay? Why? Because gold is a worldwide commodity that's easily movable, easily cross-border transportation. Silver. Reliable official data on Venezuela's silver production export is minimal or non-standardized. Ooh, that's going to change. But silver does exist as a byproduct of mining activity. Market reports suggest silver export levels and production have been volatile and relatively low in value compared to primary metals and petroleum exports. Well, silver's at an all-time high today. So, excuse me. If you actually paid attention and acted upon that non-financial advice I gave you back when I told you silver was what, $42 an ounce? That was just several months ago. You could have doubled your money. If you bought in way back when it was $20 an ounce, you'd quadruple your money by now. But people still, to this day, for some reason, have not evaluated their material life, which means all that shit you don't take with you when you go away forever, that you've accumulated over time. That if you haven't figured out by now that what's a liability and what's an asset and how you should be investing for your future, because the dollar value is going down, it costs more to live. Yeah. Y'all pay attention. What's going on? I typed it 2 weeks ago when silver hit its all-time high, and then it dropped down to, I think, like maybe 68, high 60s, maybe in the low 70s. And I typed in a Telegram room that one day people will look back at $75 an ounce for silver and go, man, that was a fucking bargain. I should have got it then. Market reports suggest silver export levels and production have been volatile. We're going to cover that. Uncovered commodity reports have circulated suggesting large silver shipments to Russia and China at the end of 2025. Hang on. Unconfirmed commodity reports have circulated suggesting large silver shipments to, I can almost say it, Russia and China, which is part of BRICS, at the end of 2025. So that means the last quarter. Uh-oh. But these are not yet confirmed by official sources. Where gold and silver fit in Venezuela's commodity ranking. So here you go. We've already gone through all of these, but they fall. Gold at number 7, copper at 9, silver at 10. And I guarantee you, These are going to move up. Not fertilizer, but yeah, all these precious metals, they're going to slide up. I know they have a lot of aluminum, a lot of bauxite, but they're getting ready to go in there and pump it up. Absolutely. But the only big thing is the oil, and that's what they're there for. Because strategically, that oil cannot fall into the possession of Russia or China. Not when it's on our own front doorstep. This is why we went in there. So we've already gone through this. Official report, official export figures vary widely over short periods, but we have solid reported data showing in much of 2024, gold exports totaled approximately 667.6 million January through November, according to the Venezuelan Statistics Institute, INE, significantly down from 2023, but still sizable. Monthly export reports in 2025 show values of 111 million in April and 134.2 million in October, suggesting strong seasonal or market-driven fluctuations. Independent projection estimates, including informal sectors not fully captured by official customs data, suggest that gold production may be 67.3 tons per year, which implies a total gold value of around 5.6 billion annually if monetized at a typical market prices, though much of this may never be officially exported due to informal trade and smuggling. So we can get into more of that, but didn't want to. So here's the updated top commodity exports for Venezuela, including gold and silver. And now you see we have crude oil and petroleum products, which are roughly 17.5 billion annually. Gold at a max of one, just rounded off, 1 billion per annum. Iron and steel, 456 million. Organic chemicals, about 500 million. Fish and seafood, third of a billion. Aluminum products, third of a billion. Ores, third of a billion. Fertilizers, about 200 million. Copper articles, 131. Cocoa products, 108. Silver, 200 million. So I did this just because when I heard that or saw it, I can't remember which, it really, you know, I was like, what? That can't be true. I've already looked into Venezuela. I mean, it was just overwhelmingly shocking. So anyway, we already know all that. And that's basically where I got so far. And I did that late last night. Whew, really. Did a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So I can't tell you what they're going to do. I can tell you when this is going to happen, but I guarantee you, they're the Venezuelan Bolivar, and most people don't use it in Venezuela. They use debit cards simply because it's a hyperinflated currency, and that's why they keep, that's why they have 4 different currency issues. They have the original Bolivar, they have the Bolivar Fuerte, the Bolivar Soberano, and now the Bolivar Digitale. It's such a hyperinflated currency to, buy a loaf of bread, like Fuerte, you'd probably have to have a stack like this of the largest denomination that they issued. So that's a big deal. Now, you can pick that currency up pretty cheap, and you just might get a return on your investment. You might not. I don't know. You don't have to listen to me. I don't give you financial advice. I'm just some moron talking to my laptop. I don't know anything. But I know the story of the invasion and capture of Maduro sounds super fishy. Okay, we'll never know the truth, and don't think we ever will. That's not coming out. You're not going to know about the deals until they're, we're here, we're operating. Oh, by the way, Chevron, yeah, now we run all the oil fields in Venezuela. Thank you very much. Y'all didn't see the sign? That's what that's going to look like. Sadly, as that sounds. Now, who's going to replace Maduro? They already got their stand-in, and are they going to put the Machado in there, the Nobel Peace Prize winner? I don't know. Are they going to have a new election? I don't know. Are they going to go in there and root out those evil voting machines that are allegedly in Venezuela? I don't know. It's to the point now, folks, where everything's questionable. Everything that you hear, every narrative, I don't care who's saying it. If it's mainstream media, alternative media, because there's a bunch of people on alternative media that are just feeding y'all full of fucking shit. North Korea, what other countries were there? I know they were a big one. They have teams over there that just do nothing but create what's called AI slop. And that's just nothing but to get your attention, to get you to click on it and listen to it. And it's going to have a lot of truth, and then it's going to have some disinformation in it. And most of the time with this bullshit AI slop, it's just to take your time, money, and energy, whatever that looks like. And then you have our politicians, and what a disappointment this country has turned out to be as far as we the people, the promise we made to ourselves that we couldn't keep. I mean, people still don't know how to self-govern, even when they're standing on their own, soapbox, yelling at the sky, I'm self-governing. God bless everybody. If you contact me and you need assistance, please get your ducks in a row before you start overwhelming me with information, because I'll try to help anybody I can as quickly as I can, because I can't spend 16 hours with one person trying to assist them. I just don't have that time. Okay. I need every minute I can for my own self, because I got, probably 24 different projects that are half finished, 3/4 finished, that I just don't have time to get to. Because when I help people and people don't have their shit together and they don't know what the hell's going on because they haven't read their own stuff before they send it to me, and I'm having to explain to them what this is, and then they doubt exactly what came out of my mouth. And this is what I tell everybody, okay? As you know, if you watch me, I'm a man of honor, man of substance. I hold myself accountable more than anybody. More than anybody. So I don't need anybody else to hold me accountable. When I'm wrong, I'll admit I was wrong. When I make a mistake, I admit I am making a mistake. When I misspeak or misspoke or make a misstatement, I correct myself. I do it on the air. I'm not too proud to do that. My ego ain't that big. So I take accountability for all of that. So my 12 years of litigation experience, if that is not enough for you, or the fact that I've been published, a gazillion times, it's ridiculous. Last time I looked, it was 24 or 25 times. I had no idea I was published that many times. Are they wins? No, not all of them. I do have some wins. I own a Black's Law Dictionary. I used to read a Black's Law Dictionary for just enjoyment, because I was tired of reading James Patterson, Stephen King, and David Icke, and all these other books. I wanted to read just, let me go, I'm studying law, I'm practicing law. Maybe I should understand what every word means. And I would just sit there with Black's Law Dictionary and just read it. Absolutely. You know, when you have 60 years on your hand, got a lot of time to do a lot of stuff. So when I tell you something, and then you tell me, no, Floyd, don't believe what your eyes are reading. What? And then when you do that twice in the same conversation, I don't have time for that. You need to come to me proper. Don't come to me half stepping. Don't come to me with your shit spread out all over the place and you don't have your act together. You don't even know what the hell you're doing. Okay. I don't know what you've done, what you haven't done. I don't know what you filed, what you haven't filed. I don't know what you know and what you don't know. And I don't know what your goals are. More likely than not, you don't even know what your goals are. So get your goals, write them down, put them in order of priority by need, not by want, because I know there's a bunch of you out there who's like, oh, I want some more jeans. I want some more clothes. Oh, I need a 16th cowboy hat. Really? You don't have enough shit in your life? Okay. It's yours. Spend it however you want. So it blows me away. I just don't have time for it, folks. I'll help you. I'll answer the phone. I ain't got a problem with that. Become proper. Okay? Get your goals together. Put them in need. If you know how to achieve that goal for 2026, write it down. If it's, I want to change my status, or I want to get a passport as a U.S. national, or I want to authenticate my birth certificate, or I want to get a DOT number, or I want to get an EIN, or I want to set up a trust, or you just like, okay, I need to watch this video. I need to buy this book. I need to join this Facebook group. I need to join this Telegram group. And then for the ones you don't know, you reach out to somebody that you trust, that you know is going to know that it's not going to blow shit up your ass and try to sell you something and put you on the right path to glory, your glory. That's what I'll do. But don't come at me like that. And, you know, I mean, Jesus Christ, I just don't have the time. I wish I did. I really did. I wish I could duplicate myself and, you know, here's your task. Here's your assignment. Here, call this person and deal with them. I have a piece of paper right here that I asked somebody else to deal with them because I didn't have time to deal with them. And this gentleman did send some money with all this. And now I just found this. Okay. Remember, I'm going through paperwork from 2 years ago. And I just found it. And I don't know if it got handled or not. So I have to call this gentleman. Then you have a phone number on here. So I'm going to write him to determine whether or not he got it taken care of. So, yeah, please don't do that to me. Okay. I mean, I was up till 5:30 in the morning. And then I got to get up at 9 because my phone starts ringing. Texts start going off. All right. How you doing, Michael? Oh, I got a show coming up right after this one at 7 o'clock. So in 19 minutes, top of the hour, wherever you're at. Not just another Joe. What, Floyd? Not just another Joe. Where's he at? There you go. This is a financial compliance investigator. If you have a financial transaction you would like to get forensically audited for real, by the real deal, not just another Joe, you'll be on tonight. We'll talk about a whole bunch of things. If you're playing over in the, private realm, private process, trying to self-govern, probably a video that you want to watch. So again, 18 minutes, top of the hour, wherever you're at. Hi, Shirley. How you doing? Welcome to the show in North Carolina. I just actually last night I was reading your North Carolina criminal and procedures. I know you're like, what? You were what, Floyd? Don't you live in Texas? Yes, I live in Texas, but somebody else lives in North Carolina, and they had the book, and we were reading it last night. Absolutely. And boy, oh boy, oh boy, what I was reading was like, shocking. Who Julia of the Family Downer. How you doing? Do you think that they were right to do what Trump did, or injustice, killing about 80 people? Julia, what Trump and Trump's done a lot of things. Killing the 80 people, is that in Venezuela? Because I haven't heard any of that. I have not listened to anything on Venezuela or Maduro. Nothing. I don't want to, because I know it's just a bunch of blah, 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 blah. The only thing that matters is he's no longer running Venezuela and he's in custody. Who's going to run Venezuela? How are they going to run Venezuela? And what are they going to do with the Venezuelan economy? That's all that matters. We already know that the backdoor deals have been done with the Trump guys. Everything's been parceled out. Everybody's got their little booth set up to day one. They're going to go in there and plant their flag and start making, create that ATM where they're making money. Hello, welcome to the show over on Rumble. Kimberly, hello. Hey, how you doing? Another CG. Oil and silver. Yeah, it's not all oil and silver over there. Yep, you're right. Back up to 82 plus. And like I tell everybody, just walk around your house or storage unit, garage, attic, basement, backyard, front yard, doesn't matter. And look at all the stuff, just stuff that you own. If you haven't used it in a year or two and you don't foresee yourself using it in the next year or two, it's got to go. It's a liability. It's not an asset. So what if you have an empty house that's very Spartan? But guess what? You might have 500 ounces of silver stacked in a safe somewhere. Don't you think that's a little bit more valuable than having 3 lazy boys and there's only one person that lives in the house? How you doing, Larry? Right. Yeah, well, we know the answer to that, Kev, don't we? Absolutely, we know the answer to that. Let me turn on that banner for you guys. Yeah, we're almost at the hour. So I've got some shows coming up. I have Stephen Gladstone. If you don't remember Stephen, that's where we did the secret societies by the numbers, where 1 equals A, 2 equals B, 3 equals C, 4 equals D, 5 E, and so on until you get to the 26th letter of the alphabet. And then you add 2 and the 6, and that's an 8. And then he takes those words and adds up those numbers and comes out with a total. And then if it's a combo number, he'll reduce it to a single digit and then boom. Obviously, these have meanings like they do with gematria. I had him on the show last time, and I'd never heard this type of deciphering, this code. So it was all new to me, and I didn't know what to expect, didn't know how to interview him. So Stephen spoke extremely fast, very quickly, too quickly for myself and my audience. So when I have him back on, we're gonna slow him down. So you can do the math in your head along with Stephen, because Stephen's done this so many times, he's not even doing the math in his head. He just knows the word and already knows the total figure. While you're doing the math in your head, he's already moved on to the next number. And then he leaves you behind in the conversation, because I found myself doing that over and over and over. So I'm going to bless you. And I'm going to steer him. We're going to talk about, because he was in Nashville, he was in the music business, and I'd like to pry into that industry. because I have friends that are in that industry, and there's a lot of satanic imagery, symbology in rock and roll, obviously, and then heavy metal and all of that ilk or genre rather. And I have friends that play professionally for some of the, a lot of them play for a lot of different groups. Like Bloss, he played for Stephen Pearcy, the former lead singer for Rat. He's currently, he's probably done now, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. He was the original drummer for Slaughter. He played for the Blue Man Group. And then you've got Bobby Rock, who played for Vinnie Vincent, Nelson, Lita Ford now. And they play with a lot of different people. So when I spoke to another stagehand the other day, we were talking about Beyonce's halftime Super Bowl show. Remember when she brought out her daughter, Blue Ivy? Well, they rehearsed all that here in Houston. And they did it, I think, at the NRG. Well, my union, 51, we were the stagehands that did all the rehearsals. I refused that gig. I didn't want any part of it. And he told me it ritual, ceremony, absolutely. So I don't participate in any of that stuff anymore. That was a pretty interesting conversation. All right, well, I got to roll. I'm going to get ready for my next show, Not Just Another Joe. Stay tuned. Like I said, I got Steven coming up. He's scheduled for Friday. That's tentative. That's not a static date. It's going to move. I'm going to contact him tonight, probably during the show when I'm talking to Joe by text and get a firm date. I'll have some other one coming up. If you remember Stuart Handy, the former Nevada State Trooper, Nevada County Sheriff, tribal deputy, I believe. He may have been tribal sheriff. I have to go back over that. Who was trying to help somebody out that was sitting in his attorney's office, and that totally backfired. I've had him on the show multiple times. He is bringing on this panel of these gracious ladies to tell their stories. One of them will be Casey Kasem's daughter, among others. I know one, when you hear the name, you're like, huh? CIA related. Yeah, that's going to be a fun show. I was told if I didn't have a tear in my eye by the time these ladies got done, then I was inhuman. I'm like, well, thanks for that one. Can hardly wait. So bring your Kleenex to that show. I don't know when it's going to be. They're texting me in this group text. I haven't had a chance to reply to it, so I will. We'll get all that set up for you. I'm going to reach out to Sandy Mirecki, the former Air Force test pilot, the fourth woman ever, not ever, but the fourth woman test pilot. And if you don't know anything about test pilots, they are cocky, masculine, egotistical maniacs. And she existed in that atmosphere and thrived. So she's a badass. I want to get her back on, talk to her. Always great to talk to Sandy. I got some other people in the Republic of Texas I think I can try to get on. I want to talk to them. So, unless people start making moves and start, putting down this fictitious territorial narrative where we can't play together, even though we're trying to do the same thing, that's all got to stop. We got to play together. And I think that's about it. If you want a soft cover book, they're not on the website yet. Just email me, hit me up in Telegram, DM me, call me, text me, whatever. We'll get you taken care of. If you just want to buy one you don't see on there, just go to the payments and donation page on my website and just do a $99 purchase. Give me all your information, and I'll get the books sent out to you. And I'll be back in 7 minutes with Not Just Another Joe, forensic private investigator, for financial transactions. And I think you're going to like that, especially my audience. Yeah, you like Stephen, I know. Interesting. I've had some interesting people on there. I have some interesting people coming up. So good night, everybody. Tune back in. See you in a minute.